you have to be consistent in the policy. So you talk about new economic policy is the same. You say yes, you have to liberalize. But what about the procurement policy? What about negotiated tender? What about the commissions, the hundreds of millions you take? You continue to do that with impunity. And you talk about a liberal, transparent policy. Correct, high-sounding terms, appealing. But do you really mean it? And then we see in terms of implementation. You talk 1 Malaysia. Why do you discriminate Penang? Why not education given to Penang? Selangor. I am the economic advisor to Selangor. I go through. It goes even, rural projects and allocation sent through federal officers. Bypass the state completely. By Satu Malaysia. Can you disagree with Satu Malaysia? You can't disagree with it. For example, kita mestilah jadi baik. How can I disagree? Tapi bunuh orang tak apa. Hakim-hakim mestilah hukum undang-undang. You have to agree. But you cannot be naive. You cannot be naive. You have to understand that these are statements and you have to judge. For example, if I say that, you can we will make sure that in our Pakatan state government, we have to be transparent and make sure that all the benefits help. The benefits in a transparent manner and applicable to all, regardless of respective race. We're starting with 2,500 ringgit for any death to the family, given to the family members. And then they say, okay, we agree. Sounds very nice. Then you see, are you sure it's given to the Malays and Chinese and Indians? We have done that. Okay. And we have to observe tender procedure. Have we done that? Yes. So that is important to my mind.
In the UK, your government will be able to come to power without a clear platform on healthcare policy. Can you please share with us what Pakistan's ideas about increasing privatization of healthcare in Malaysia and what the priorities for healthcare reform might be when the government comes to power?
We need your input on that. No, but for now, the position, I'm not able, I know, Azmi, you know more about the public health program or an agenda. You say no, that you cannot be Minister of Health. No, I think seriously in response to Yolanda's question that in the framework we have said, number one, we have to improve the quality. I know, for example, Seberang Jaya, in the Permatang Pau constituency, the same 1995-96 when approved, when I was an MP, no change, not one ward increase with the increasing numbers of patients, and I can see the doctors and nurses have to struggle so hard. So you don't improve the quality there. And now you privatize. The danger that is when you privatize that the cost, the burden to the poor, number one. Number two, the priority then for any doctor, then of course at least to divide and get the benefit from the private practice. So I think what we will have to, of course, improve our support system to ensure that doctors stay. But I have difficulty in agreeing that you privatize the hospital. There are certain public services you cannot privatize. You have seen the disaster in the water privatization, road. It's the burden to the public. So when it comes to education, health, I think it must be the responsibility of the government. But we will have private hospitals. They can do it. You can afford to pay, you pay. But then the public health system must be protected. I think the details you have to work out and help us. Yes, please.
Two questions. One is, the first is Indra, ally or foe. The second question is, this room is full of Malaysians. Many are students and some have probably, like me, stayed a lot longer here than we should have. What do you want from us?
is originally one organization, but you have many claimants to the throne. You have, of course, some of our colleagues with Murthy here, and Tharendran now with Najib, and Utaya Kumar takes a position against everybody. And then you have Vasanta now with Keadilan, or supportive Keadilan. So, I mean, as I know, as I see it, I don't know whether there is just one Hindra. But we work with them. I mean, some of the issues taken up, we have taken serious consideration. But what I said in Klang, not only meant for the Tamil or Hindus, but applicable to all. I say, why do we battle hard against UMNO? Unjust, racist politics. What is our program? It has to be a just, pluralistic agenda. We cannot battle UMNO by giving this sort of inference that we have to be somewhat a racist reaction. I remind Malays in Keadilan and PAS, or Chinese in Keadilan DAP, or Indians to be mindful of this. You start speaking and blaming and apportioning the entire blame to Malays, Malay leadership, Malay policy, then you are in trouble. Because the problem is not the Malays, it's the corrupt leadership of UMNO. You must be able to differentiate that. And you start, for example, blaming Malays. Then you have a problem. I say Malays are lazy, Malays are incompetent, they are mediocre. Then, because you've been befriending them. Well, this is my view. I don't believe so. I mean, similar as Chinese. So we will have to work together. The difference, the stark difference between UMNO-led Barisan Nasional, because the component parties, the MCA and GERAK, what do you expect them to do? They just, baik. Oh, macam Tok Pekong. People have been in Parliament, I've seen. When I apply, I said, look, what is happening to this MCA and MIC representatives? These guys are abusing you. And they're happy. They expect me to say something. But they are, probably captive in that sort of system. So in our case, my advice is, you can cite a case where we have discriminated against Malays or Chinese or Indians in Islam. Okay, we are not able to solve all the problems. You mean in 2 years, we have to correct all the ills of UMNO for the last 50 years? We cannot do that. It became a big issue for the Chinese penyembelihan khinzir ni. Chinese abattoir. Big issue. Because the state government decided to move. I say, what makes you think that because it is a Pakatan-led government, we cannot close down abattoir? If it is set up in the city, in the town of Alostar, and move, we have to do that. When and if we must. You see, so you must make a difference. If it is unjustly done, you do it without proper adequate notice or compensation. So you must make a difference. We have to rule in government. 18 new, is it 18 the one that approved at the Expo Selangor? 18 new quail, Hindu temples? 18 new temples approved. But then it takes time because it's not yet gazetted by the local councils. The state government were abused by some of the Indians. The fact that for 50 years it was not approved, and we have approved, the state government have approved, but it takes time to get through, the local council and the procedures. This is grossly unfair to my mind, grossly unjust in their criticism. Because I am saying this, not just because to appease you. It's my conviction, my commitment. I'm prepared to face the Malays. The rogues who call me a traitor to the Malays for being pro-Hindus and pro-Christians or Buddhists. I'm telling them, look, I'm prepared to fight for Malaysians, be it Indians or Malays or Chinese, for justice in this country. But it's not fair for then some segment of the Chinese or Indians to say, oh, no, you are not doing enough. Of course, you can criticize, but don't call us and abuse the state. I mean, the way Lim Guan Eng was abused for the Buah Pala affair, I don't think it was just and fair, because I know for a fact that the compensation was exorbitantly higher compared to any compensation given in the past to the Malay areas or the Chinese areas. So, I mean, how do you address the Malays? So, I think, do we need to agree? We may not agree. Can you criticize? You can criticize. We think that the state government should do this instead of this. But to say that they are racist, or is just like Bayan Baru. Tak setuju je terus, dictator, chauvinist, communist. This is not